This video shows how to prevent an overdose by administering NARCAN. This is the fastest, quickest, and easiest way of preventing an opioid overdose.
We're looking for someone who is not breathing, or if they are breathing, it's going to be very slow and shallow. You may hear like a raspy gurgling sound, like someone is gasping for breath. The person is going to be completely unconscious and unresponsive. Their fingertips, lips, skin may be turning blue or gray or white. And the person, if fentanyl is involved, we're seeing a lot more muscle rigidity. So that could be like really stiff chest, really stiff arms. And after we've assessed these things and seeing that, especially the biggest one to remember is the person is not responsive, they're not conscious, we go into the next step, which is trying to get a response verbally. So if you know the person's name, you can use that. If not, just yelling, hey, are you okay? Are you all right? Clapping hands, stomping feet, some sayings that may elicit a response if someone is able to respond. If you don't respond to me, I'm going to call 911. I'm going to call medical assistance. If you don't respond to me, I'm going to NARCAN you. Most people who use drugs are familiar with what NARCAN is, and that may elicit a response if they're able to respond, of course. And finally, if the person has not responded to any of these verbal cues, it's time to move on to the final step before administering naloxone, and that's a sternal rub. So this does involve physically touching the person. You start by making a fist as such and using your knuckles. It doesn't matter either side of your knuckles, they're both hard, but you just want to go up and down while applying pressure on the sternum or breastbone. So welcome you to try it at home on yourself. You'll feel that it is not comfortable, but also it's not hurting you, it's not dangerous, but it isn't comfortable. So this may, again, if someone is able to respond, prompt a response maybe a bit more than a verbal cue would. So if you've done all of these steps, including the sternum rub, and someone is still unresponsive, we want to move on to NARCANing someone. Also, a quick note, if someone is responding but may not be super coherent, like they're mumbling or they're talking, we do consider that a response. So at that point, they don't need to be NARCANed, but if you're able to, definitely keep an eye on them because they may progress into an overdose. So our person is not responsive. Lucky for us, we have our NARCAN kits on hand. So there's 3 things to remember, 3 P's. The first thing is peel. Each kit comes in a blister pack with an easy tab, so you don't have to fight it. So you can just peel that back and the device is inside. Once you have the device out, you're going to press it inside the person's nostril. So when you're holding it, it's important to keep your thumb away from the plunger, because once that plunger gets pushed in, the whole dose is administered. These are not refillable. You can't stop it once it's pushed in. The whole spray goes up. So we want to make sure not to engage that until it's fully secure inside someone's nostril. So we recommend keeping your thumb on the side and your first 2 fingers here to stabilize it. So you get the tip inside someone's nostril, and make sure you may feel your fingers on the bottom of their nose. Make sure it's in there. For training purposes, these are filled with water, so I'm not actually spraying NARCAN. But once it's in, you're going to press this up.
And that's the spray.
That's water, but that would be the spray.
Yeah. And so it's that quick, so and then from 2 to 8 minutes, you expect the response.
Yeah, and as you saw, it is one big shoot. Once that was pushed up, there's no getting it back in. So again, We want to make sure that it's in someone's nose before engaging the plunger. But yeah, it's super simple. If you don't remember anything else that I've talked about, just remember the peeling, pressing, and then plunging of the plunger, and give it that 2 minutes. The person should start to come to. Again, if they haven't, each kit does come with 2 doses. And it's also really important that this person should still seek medical services. So if for whatever reason someone is very adamant on not going to the hospital or not going with EMS, we recommend that someone stay with them for up to at least 3 hours just to monitor, make sure that everything is going okay, and if not, that they can contact emergency services at that point. There's something called the rescue position. If you need to leave this person for whatever amount of time, even if that's to run and grab a second dose, go answer the door to let the ambulance in, like any amount of time that you are not with this person, we just want to make sure that they're in this position to avoid rolling over, choking on any vomit, like making sure they're stable as possible. So you want to lie the person out on a flat, hard surface, such as the ground, on their side with one leg, the leg under them, bent and elbow bent, the other leg out and arm out, so that kind of like stabilizes them from rolling on the ground while you are not currently with them. Access to this is proven. It is the gold standard for combating an opioid overdose, and the more people we have walking around with it that know how to use it, that's more overdoses that we can intervene in and reverse. So it's really incredible.